Casa Firjan is a space committed to repeat and create proposals and solutions to the challenges of the new economy in a society that is still transforming itself. We have the commitment to think about the future and facilitate the path to leaderships, professionals, and society for when the future comes. Faperj is a foster agency of science and technology and innovation in the state of Rio de Janeiro. Its mission is to contribute for the establishment of favorable conditions to the social development. The Innovation Dialogues is a series of encounters of Firjan in partnership with Faperj to debate about innovation environments. The goal is to implement the ecosystems of Brazilian innovation, creation meeting points and converting points for different actors, government, companies, academies, startups, institutions, research institutions, and third sector. Everything to talk about the future of Rio and Brazil, observing that we have Brazilian and international success cases. In 2019, we have 18 editions of Innovation Dialogues, focusing in national innovation cases. Now in 2021, we have the initiatives and examples of international ecosystems of innovations with international experts and Brazilian experts. Hello, everybody. It's a pleasure to open the Innovation Dialogues of the pharmaceutical companies. I would like to say once again hello to Carlos Gadelha, professor, José Graço Aranha, that was here before with us for the industrial property, and mainly Professor Wu. It's a pleasure. He's so far and so close from us. I'm a president of the pharmaceutical industry for some years. When I started as a president, I had 115 companies that was associated to our union. And today I have 45. 70 companies just disappear for many reasons. Financial reasons, new opportunities. But today I have only 45 companies and not 150 that we had before. The importance of understanding this concentration that the pharmaceutical sector is offering, not only in Brazil or Rio, the whole world. The research investments we have a lot of research investments. We have unpredictable results. Here with me, I have a map of the first 15 companies in the world in any sector in research development. The first company is Amazon. Research, sales, delivery, and logistics. In the first 15 companies, 5 of them are pharmaceuticals. The main word pharmaceutical in research is Roche, a Swiss company from the same family since the beginning of the 20th century. They have discipline, they are competent, they have great results. Pfizer, Johnson, Mercury, Novartis, they are between the first 12 research companies in the world. Research investments we have $11 billion in research investments. It's a great volume, and the results are proportional to these investments that we have. For Rio de Janeiro or Brazil, for us to have deep researches, we need we need a lab, we need experts, and more than this, we need a project. We can have facilities, we can have, but we need to have a goal, we need to have a perspective of what are the results that we want. My company starts doing research, and we have like small information exchanges and products, but it's just a start. And we need the same thing. It's important, as Machiavelli said it, fortune, luck. We need to be luck and we need to be competent. But this debate is very important. And here we have colleagues that can collaborate with this type of definition. The resources, people that are prepared to work, and especially to have a project. A project so we can use those people, those experts with the resources. I believe that innovation dialogues with these colleagues that are interested in the subject, that are capable to expose these ideas are important. I believe that the opening of this presentation is just to guide and pass the control to Lélio and the debates and the presentations. I'm pretty sure that we're going to have amazing presentations from Gadelha, Graça Aranha, and Dr. Hu. Who is so far and at the same time so close. Muito obrigada. Vocês estão me ouvindo bem? Vocês me ouvem?
I guess yes or not. Can you hear me?
Yes, they can hear you.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay. Can I say the slide? Oh, how can I make a slide bigger? Wait a second. Panorama. Second. Can you hear me? Full screen. Wait a second. I just want to see how to switch the slide to the big screen. Wait a second. Yeah. So give me seconds.
Dr. Wu, maybe Roberta can help us to show the slide from his end. Roberta, can you help us to show the slide?
Ivanildo, você consegue mostrar o slide na tela cheia?
Okay, so okay, can I? Yeah. So I don't see my full screen of slide. Let me. I'm not familiar with this. Yeah. Spotlight.
不是您需要我来翻吗？
Okay. Yeah. But anyway, I see a lot of screens, but my slide is very small. But I try my best to. Wait a second. I take my glass. Oh, now it's good. Now it's good. Thank you very much. So that's wonderful. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for the great speech of Professor Gross. And my name is Xiaobing Wu. I'm the president of BeiGene, a China-based company which is not going to global. So next page, please. Yeah. So we started. Currently we have in the world, in the healthcare sector, we have so healthcare challenger of pandemic COVID-19. And one of the best methodology to fight against COVID-19 is vaccine. And a lot of companies have developed a good vaccine, including my previous company, Pfizer. It's very famous. I have been Pfizer a country manager for China for 9 years. And though Pfizer is a great company. And so having said that, also in China, it's quite some company has also developed a vaccine, and currently all different methodology pathway to develop a vaccine are all in China, including the inactivated virus vaccine and adeno vaccine, and also company is working also on mRNA, DNA vaccine, and in China, so 4 vaccines are conditionally approved in China. 3 vaccines are allowed to be used as emergency use, and China has delivered over 350 million doses to other parts of the world. Besides, I think over 200 million or 300 million dosage in China countrywide. The vaccination is countrywide accelerating. Recently, I say the Wall Street Journal also reporting, a small town in Brazil, and using the Sinopharm's vaccine, which reduced the infection rate dramatically, which is very good news. We are very happy to see that. So therefore, this pandemic demonstrated also how important is the pharmaceutical industry, how important is the biotech industry for the world, for a country. So next page, please. So as we know, 10 years ago, China is almost a purely generic the country with purely generics. It's almost no innovative medicine. All innovative medicine are imported through the multinational company, which I have been also working in the past. So since situation has changed dramatically. So the milestone was 2015. China appointed the new commissioner for Chinese FDA, at that time called CFDA, the commissioner, Mr. B. And he launched a huge healthcare and regulatory reform, which opened the door to the, which make the biotech industry, the access and also the innovation much easier. And China joined year later also the ICH, which also increases the standard for China pharmaceutical standard to the world standard. So ICH, this is a key milestone. Since then, China pharmaceutical biotech industry, especially for innovative industry, has developed very, very significantly fast. Here is a chart on the left side. You can see this is a study from McKinsey. And you can see worldwide, the pipeline product, the #1 country is United States, USA, which makes 49, almost 50% of global pipeline product for innovation. Surprisingly, the second country is China. Just think about 7 years ago, this is almost 0. And now is almost 14%, all international and global pipeline product coming from China. And of course, Japan is third, and UK, Germany, and Switzerland, etc. That in the recent report from IQVIA, they even report 18% of early stage pipeline are coming from China. The situation changed so much, and people ask what happened. So next page, please. Next page. Yeah. We believe three things happened. Number one is policy change. Everyone knows pharmaceutical is heavily regulated industry, and government policy in the country decided very much fundamentally where the biotech industry goes. Therefore, with this reform of the drug supervision law and drug administration law, and the policy is very much in favor of the innovative medicine industry. With that, many talents coming from Western world to China, including returnees, Chinese students studied in the Western countries, and also quite some also scientists from the Western country come to China because the environment is so favorable for innovation, and followed the policy, followed the talents, money follows too. And I just want to give you an example. For instance, the IPO, the biotech industry in the last 2 years raised almost within 2 years raised almost $20 billion, and through IPO. That's for early pipeline company which just have the innovative product in the portfolio. Many companies don't have revenue and profit, but the stock market, the finance market open the door for those companies to raise money. That's all three big factor helps: policy change, talent, and money, capitals. Next, please. Next page. So that is, I said before, within 2 years, both in Hong Kong market and Shanghai Stock Exchange, the new innovative pharmaceutical company, biotech company, has raised close to $20 billion. Next, please. So with that, quite some company, they raised the innovative product they have submitted, so NDA or BLA in the developed country like in US and in European countries, European Union. And this is just a few examples. BeiGene has got the approval for zanubrutinib, Brukinsa. This is a BTK inhibitor from US FDA by end of 2019. This is the first innovative patented innovative medicine from China and invented in China, so ever approved in United States. This product is also launched in US, and followed on that, you can say this is quite some company also submitted the application in US, which shows tremendous trend. And we say we are focusing BeiGene on oncology product. We say cancer has no border, neither do we. So we are fighting cancer worldwide also, beyond the border. Next page. So what we believe it is going to happen next. We think the next is not only we should develop and invent the innovative medicine, but also very importantly is those medicines should be price-wise affordable to mass of the population, to many more population. not only in the developed country, but also in the developing countries, where the patient, the GDP is lower, and people probably cannot afford very high priced innovative medicine. That exactly, we believe, will be the trend going forward. Next, please. This is just a snapshot of BeiGene. BeiGene is founded in 2011. This is exactly almost 10 years ago. And within 10 years ago, BeiGene started from scratch. This is founded by two people. One is a scientist called Xiaobing Wu, and so he is Chinese American, and another one is John Euler. He is American, but lived in China over 15 years. And Xiaodong is one of the best scientists in the world, and John Euler is one of the best entrepreneur in the world. And both together has founded BeiGene, and now BeiGene has developed from the scratch to the company listed in Nasdaq with a market cap of over $30 billion, and also listed in Hong Kong Stock Exchange. We are going to also apply China IPO in Shanghai Stock Exchange. We have over 50 product in the pipeline, in the development, and we have global trials. We are doing trials globally in many countries, in US, in China, in Europe, and in all the continental. So next, please. It shows the snapshots of our pipeline and the area we are working on, all the different type of cancers for male and female, and for lung cancer, breast cancer, and for esophageal, and all the kind of also lymphoma, and also leukemia, and all this type of cancer disease. Next, please. So, as I said before, not only we want to help the people, patient in developed country, and more importantly, how we can work together to help the patient in developing countries. And we believe between China and Brazil, there is a lot of similarity. Both countries are developing countries, and both countries has a huge population and medically unmet needs. And both countries need to serve many more patients with innovative medicine, but also with affordable price. So I think with that, I will end my short presentation. I will be very happy to take questions from you and audience. Thank you very much.
Bom dia. Aconteceu.
Morning. Good morning. I believe something different that what was programmed happened, and Mr. Gross, it was a beautiful presentation. We love this presentation. Thank you, Dr. Wu. I'm going to present myself. I'm not sure if I present myself or Gadelha will start talking. I'm trying to contact the organization, but we are here on the screen, but I'm gonna start presenting myself. I worked in Brazil in the 70s in the construction and operation of antibiotics in a vertical production, being part of the entire productive process with derivatives of penicillin. In the 90s, I was a partner of a Brazilian company in antiviral, being the pioneer in the world of the vertical production of AZT. That was the first medicine for the HIV treatment. At that time, Wellcome, the English Wellcome, would produce the capsules of AZT coming from Samchuli, Korea with the material, and we will do the entire production of the AZT for less than half price in the entire world. The APIs productions, it's a political and national security decision that must be incentive for the public policies in the countries to avoid this health crisis, as we can see here in the COVID-19 pandemic. The API production generate a lot of products, and is very expensive production. That's why this was it's being done by Asia, that is the biggest producer of this, and we can see the result as China that is producing this. They are growing and they developing innovative products. BeiGene, it's new, it's only 10 years old and already had a 2.07 billion, being one of the pharmaceuticals that is being done in the Chinese government. In the 90s and the 80s, we had a national policy, for example, that the strategical production of antibiotics, Brazil at the time that had 6 fermentation factories for antibiotics, and one of them were 100% national, and today we do not have any factory. In the 80s, Brazil was one of the most producers of IPO in the world, and we have 55% of the national demand. In the 90s, we have the opening of with the president to export, that eliminate hundreds of companies. In the 2000s, we had the generic with the IPO from China and India, created millions of different companies, but almost 100% were depending of the Asian APOs. This is what I wanted to talk in this first presentation. I want to present Dr. Wu, who already presented, but the next speaker will be Carlos Gadelha. Okay, I will start. I would like to thank you, Firjan, Carlos Gro. We have this partnership with Fiocruz and Firjan. Fiocruz is the biggest innovation in Latin America. I'm proud to be part of this, and it's been brought the theme of health and development that I will try to talk about here. I would like to congratulate Dr. Wu more than I will try to do a dialogue with him that will help our audience to understand what we are talking about. Also, my friend José Graça Aranha. We know each other for a long time. We have been fighting a lot for the technological development. I already thinking about the next debate, but we are focusing in the health. Also my friend Lélio, that in the recent period was able to to continue and knowing that it's possible to produce health in Brazil. And I cannot leave behind that it was fundamental, the support that we have from Carlos Morel. It's a scientific leadership, innovative leadership from Fiocruz that make it possible, and it's been talking about this Brazil and China collaboration. I think that he is watching us, and he helped us a lot, especially Firjan, during this process. And also Faperj with Mauricio Guedes, that is trying to value the innovation in the state of Rio de Janeiro. I would like to start, I'm not going to talk badly about Brazil. I believe that China shows us that it is possible. And I would like to start in this perspective. I would like to be realistic. I believe that is essential, as Carlos Gross said. I believe that we can do something to develop ourselves in the health field. Dr. Wu, we know that Brazil has the biggest system in terms of population, and this is not little. We have our goals. This is fundamental for the pharmaceutical and biotechnological area, but we need to have this universal access for the entire population. So we have the unified health system. So we have to make sure, since the basic health until the transplant, every Brazilian that needs, we need to guarantee this. One of the areas that we advanced showing that it's possible, it was in this immunization area. Everyone from Brazil that needs a transplant, we need the technology that was developed and produced in Brazil as a factor that the transplant needs to be successful. Our policy in Brazil, our vaccine, Brazil has a historical vaccine since the 70s, and I believe that you won't believe, but 10 years ago, I was in the Ministry of Health, and China looked for us to understand how we organize the system that guaranteed this access for everyone. When system was debating about innovation and access, we were debating how we organize the HIV program in Brazil. Is an example in the whole world, and a lot of companies, pharmaceuticals that were dying literally, and our basic health, it's 93% of the cities in Brazil. So 93% in the cities of Brazil will have primary care. And today, this primary care is high technology, it's big data, it's artificial intelligence, is where we have the science for the pharmaceutical market. It's from the primary care, and it's not the homemade solutions, but it's to have scientific intelligence to get before the disease, or to prevent, as COVID-19. But in the area of science and technology, in this sector, coming back to Dr. Morel, that helped to introduce this biotechnology in Brazil, it's well in this sector. So we have the pieces of the puzzles, but we do not have anything in the central, that is the industrial capability to work with this innovation. But for example, today Brazil it's interesting for China and United States to do these clinical trials, so the diversity of the Brazilian people, everyone wants to do clinical trials here, because if we get all the vaccines, most vaccines they have in the world, they are doing clinical trials here in Brazil. So we can use this advantage to have a unified health system in Brazil as something that it's going to favor, and it's basic to advance in this technological in pharmaceuticals. And we have to change our point of view. And I believe that the Chinese example is amazing. Science, technology, and health, it's not expensive, it's investments. It's a central investment for the countries. And health, we have the welfare life quality, and innovation development opportunities. We say that we have to change our glasses to change our point of view, because we need to treat welfare, knowledge, and innovation that is the gold or 21st century. So it's the time to fight for health. Not health allows Brazil to be in the fourth technological revolution, and at the same time to give access for the entire population. They had a technical problem, but he will continue to speak. So it's fundamental. I believe I have some data, Dr. Hu, that I believe that it's fundamental. So health represents 9% of the GDP in Brazil, and it's going to 12 to 15%. This is the innovative system that will grow, the market will start to grow, and this will be only in the health system. And we have to transform this in investments and work generation. So we have 8% of the workers in Brazil works with health, and we have a technological dependency that is not acceptable anymore. So we will have a commercial debt of $20 billion. This is the entire budget of the Ministry of Health, without generating any position, without implementing any innovation knowledge in Brazil in articulation with the with this global pair with this global articulation. Your presentation was amazing, especially when you say the Chinese innovation, it's for China. And at the same time, the Chinese needs, it's for the global need. So there's no difference between importing and exporting and attending your own people. So we have to think that we are not producing only biopharmaceuticals, we are producing health, we are producing life. So we cannot lose this. In the COVID-19 context, we are not talking about products, we're talking about life, we're talking about wealth care, we're about talking human rights. And we have to talk about this. And if we look at health, this 20 billion deficit that we have in the health sector, 80% of this deficit is in the biotechnology. So the chemicals and these biotechnologicals represent 80% of this deficit. So the idea is how we are going to use this market base, this base that is the goal, that is the unified health system, that is the Brazilian population rediscovered this as the universal health system. And each person that is vaccinating, it get in motion and they cry. If we didn't have the system, our population wouldn't be getting the vaccine. Even though we are late, we are receiving. And I wanted to demystify something saying that we depend only on China. No, our commercial deficit post-COVID that increased China and Asia participation, it's half and half, China and India, and the other 50% is Europe and United States with different patents. And this, I would like to say that China is not a problem, it's not an enemy. China is our friend. And I think that we need to change our point of view and treat China as a technological partner. And I can say, Graça Aranha, we need to reinforce our multilateral point of view, where we can have a cooperation with China, United States, Europe. Look what's happening with the vaccines. Fiocruz is working with AstraZeneca. It's a company from United Kingdom and Suez. Butantan is working with China. So we cannot be seen as a buyer, only as a buyer. We need to be seen as a knowledge place of innovation and production. And with this, we can establish a rich cooperation with China, where China can be a partner in the biggest unified health system as a potency. And I want to stop this myth and these issues. And I can say that we can bring new partners, and in this global, we have to stop seeing the partners as a threat. So if we have a project and a strategy as China had, we would transform this threat in opportunity, and this competition would be a partnership so we can get to the global market. And I want to finish talking about a few things that I saw in Professor Wu's presentation. It is possible. You saw the advance that China had in 15 years. So in 1970, China was not capable of dealing with their health system. So they persisted, and we have to keep persisting that we cannot change this from government to government. As oil was ours, health is ours in 2021, and COVID is showing that. So China is showing us that it is possible, and we need to articulate this production sector and to join the public and private sector to bring this innovation. And the second lesson that I had is that innovation is the base of the innovation production. They are the base for this. 15 years ago, where Dr. Wu showed us, China was in the implementing this innovation. They are transferring technology, they were absorbing technology, and it's one of the global innovators. And we can do that, and we are doing that in the vaccine field. We can't stop transferring this technology. It's transferring technology to innovate. And I think that this point of view that we had in Fiocruz, Faperj, we have the local production technology, transfer this technology, they complement itself. So if we need to work in this industry to create the capability of innovate to win the game. So we are strong in the research, and we have the unified health system, but we do not have this industry, innovation, and technology. And my last comment, we are here at Firjan. Rio de Janeiro, today we have the biggest strategical investment in biotechnology in Latin America. So is Fiocruz for the vaccines in Santa Cruz. So maybe we are not seeing this, but it's an investment that they can carry out public-private partnerships that can bring this biotechnology entrance through the vaccines and the biopharmaceuticals, and it's here at Rio de Janeiro. I'm going to conclude music from Titãs. It's a band from Brazil. I'm going to try to do an analogy, say that we do not want only help. We want happiness, we want freedom, and we want to take care of our own population. And this partnership with China can be the fundamental mechanism so Brazil advance in innovation and had the technological sovereignty to treat its own population and contribute for the global health more equal. And with this perspective, I thank you for the opportunity of being part of this dialogue. Thank you in the name of Fiocruz. Thank you, Carlos Gadelha. Now I pass the floor for Professor José Graça Aranha. Good afternoon, everybody. First of all, Dr. Carlos Fernando Gross, our longtime friend, president of Fiesp. We work together in many companies. We had many debates. Dr. Wu, excellent presentation. I learned a lot. I liked, and I'm going to talk about later, but my friend Carlos Gadelha, also that were with me in this debate about intellectual property, and Lélio Massaria, that described a path that is our industry and our sector unfortunately, it's going to the opposite side. It's different from what Dr. Wu presented to us earlier. So the interesting in this presentation, first of all, I would like to say that it's a pleasure and an honor to be here in this event with Firjan and Faperj, with Mauricio Guedes, to be part of this innovation dialogue about the pharmaceutical industry and biopharmaceutical. I'm gonna try to talk a little bit about the patents, of course, that it's my area, my specialty, but I'd like to comment that it's very interesting to see this presentation from Dr. Wu that he show us the China's progress from 2006 until now. So it's a country that would produce only generics and start being one of the biggest innovation in the pharmaceutical areas and many other areas. So from generic to innovation in a small period of time. In a limited time, less than 6 years that China is starting giving this big leap. Of course that they had a big planning. China plans everything. So they already plan to win the 2050 soccer championship. So if they plan, they will win. So they had this political change with a new focus in the politics. They were looking for the talent, training, and people that were sent to study away, internship, and of course that the funds and financing that so they could grow in the pharmaceutical area. Lelio showed us the opposite path that we had in the last years, and I love the words from Gadelha because they show the important role of Fiocruz, one of the main producers in Brazil, together with Butantan, with producing the vaccine against COVID-19. And he also mentioned an important point that I liked and I was happy, talking about the need of this cooperation. This is not only in this area, in every area we had the need to cooperate. It doesn't matter. It's not good for us to be isolated. We are a big country. We are a country that the border is away from the big centers. We are all in some part of Brazil, and this border is 2-3 kilometers away. And the whole country speaks only one language, and we had a close economy. We are a close country. And we started to integrate ourselves with Latin America in the 80s. Before that, we turned our back for them. And in the last 40 years that we started cooperating with Latin America. And I believe that this cooperation that was done for Gadelha, it's something important, and I think something is missing. We can say that we need a health diplomacy, and we need to do in a recent period, Itamaraty, this leadership from Itamaraty that was saying that we depend of this IPO, we depend on this vaccine, and they were attacking China. I don't know why, maybe for a different point of view, but we hope that this health diplomacy, something that always happened in Brazil, in the government of Fernando Henrique Cardoso, Lula, we expected to come back to exist here for the benefit of everyone. This, with China, with the partners, the international partners, this will be essential. We have a lot to do. We need to collaborate in different areas, especially with patents. And this system is done, and it's so we can have this big cooperation, this intense cooperation among the countries. And once more, we stopped and we are not cooperating, we isolate ourselves. And what happened with us, that we lose this competitiveness, we lose this competition in many areas. As some say, I believe that Gadelha said, Gadelha said that even, he was talking about soccer, even in soccer we are left behind. And we need to understand that we need to be open and to new practices, we need to evolve. And talking about patents, I believe it would be very important for us not to try, as we do for decades, to reinvent the wheel. This is not the way. We need to get the good examples, countries that had successful cases. And we can mention once again China. China that 45, 15 years ago did not have a patent system. It was zero patent. The Brazilian economy at the time, it was a big economy. It was bigger than the Chinese economy. And during this planning, what they are doing in every area, in the pharmaceuticals, in soccer, in the development of the country, they plan. And they have to plan. And today, China, from the scratch, from zero, they had 3 million requestments of patent that are presented from China. It's the country that innovates in every area and protects its innovation throughout the patents. 3 million patents, where 1.4 million are from invention patents. We were the 5th country to adopt this intellectual property legislation. So we are founding members, and we have a tradition of legislation. The intellectual property is guaranteed by our Constitution of 1998. But unfortunately, today we have 26 million requests of patents in the year. We have the same numbers that we had 20 years ago. So we have a number of reasons why we are doing that. We have the lack of experiences, the lack of will from the governance, with the science, the lack of notion, so we can innovate. So it's important for them to understand. So we have a number of factors. As Dr. Wu said, we need funds, we need planning, we need talents, training, education, but we need this intellectual property. And it's not questioning, thinking that the intellectual property is bad for the industry, thinking that we can lose funds, or we can lose that will be in this box. I believe that we should get examples as countries as China, South Korea, Japan, Singapore, United States, and many others. So this system of intellectual property planning, knowledge, to strengthen this. And we believe that this is important. Every country has done that, and we are not doing that. Unfortunately, we are not following this example. We are not following this path. So we hope how this patent system can effectively be, can benefit the innovation. Since last year, the government had a national strategy of intellectual property, something that China has done decades ago, and Korea, Japan, and many other countries. But what we see is not, it's about the attention that we need to give to the system. This international cooperation, of course, that patents, they had this territorial validation, but we needed this cooperation. We are founders of the cooperation system, the PCT, it's a patent cooperation system. And we are the authorities, and we need to search this cooperation. But our implementation of this PCT system is limited. Our patent, I can say that I will choose my words, but our patent exams, it's not aligned with the exams that are done in all the other countries. We have a group of countries, so you can understand. The first group is a group of countries that receive half or more than that, a significant number of patent requests. These countries, we can say that Germany, United States, Korea, China, I believe the European Office of Patents, and Japan. So there are countries that receive half or even more than that of patent requests. There's national requests that are examined word by word, and after that they will be presented for the other countries. And we have the second group of countries that it's 98% of the countries, and we are in this group. We, Netherlands, Australia, Nigeria, Canada, many other countries, Mexico, Colombia, Peru, Argentina, that received a smaller number of requests, of national requests. And why I'm talking about this? Because we need to cooperate. All the countries, they cooperate, and we should cooperate. We implemented the patent exam in a different way from other countries, as we need to use what has been done. So it's what we are starting to do once again, but we need to scale up this. We cannot reinvent the wheel and restart everything from zero once again. I believe that I have a sentence from Roberto da Mata that says, Brasilia decided not to decide. And I think that this shows, this reflects what Gadelha was talking and Lely was saying. We need to decide, we need to have objectives, we need to implement without reinventing the wheel. We need to do this, we need to work with this intellectual property as it is, as the other countries are doing, with the cooperation, with diplomacy. These were the words that I would like to mention, and I'm here available for questions. I believe I don't have more time, but I'm available for questions. Well, after this presentations, I believe that everyone is back here. The girls from Firjan, they were amazing. They were able to solve the technical problems, and I'm going to see the questions that we have here. I cannot find the questions here. Just a moment. They are just trying to find the questions. Those are the problems of this new technology. We have Dr. Wu from China talking with us here. This is something that we couldn't imagine 2-3 years ago. It's the positive side of this horrible pandemic, but at least brought this positive thing that we being able to get together virtually. Good afternoon. I'm here to read a few questions from the chat so Dr. Lelio can see. We have many comments talking about this brilliant presentation from Dr. Wu, talking about the Chinese case, also the speech of Carlos Gadelha and José Graça Aranha. We have a question from Jorge Silva. He said, congratulations for the event. The question is for Graça Aranha. What's the role of WIPO in the vaccines, especially in the American government proposal? And another question from Julia Zarco, talking about the labs that were used for the research. This is specifically for Dr. Wu.
Your company, was it public, private, or mixed? And did you use laboratories for research? Are they a partnership with universities? Enfim, essas são as duas perguntas iniciais aí pro debate. Que usaram para a pesquisa. This is a specific question for Dr. Wu. Julia Zarco is asking, what is the initial investment? Se o Dr. Graça Aranha quiser começar, depois passamos a palavra para o Dr. Wu.
Perfeito. A questão é referente ao papel que a OMP tem tido com relação à proposta americana. A OMP tem uma posição muito cuidadosa nesse momento, né? Porque a OMP, na verdade, é uma organização, uma agência...
An organization from the UN that it's member-driven, so it's done by the member states. It's guided by the member states. So this debate is happening. We are having this in the WHO, and the American proposal is not clear. And what I think, my personal opinion, I had this impression that it was not, we didn't understood their proposal, and many sectors didn't understand. And the patent, and it's something that is in the international legislation, and is in every country, and it's in every country's rule. We have this mechanism, we have this license that we need to, we refer as this patent legislation, but we need to see that sometimes a lot of people, Carlos Gadelha knows about that. It's hard for us to license, to give this license in a flexible way, in a free way, but I believe that it was in some countries it's easier to be implemented, but nowadays, during this pandemic, we have this pandemic that started a year and a half ago, and in less than 1 year, we had the first generation of different vaccines in the market. And why this happened? Because there is a patent system, so the companies in the public sector invested, so in some countries they invested, so we had this first vaccine. If today we started to talk about this radical change in the system to make the system more flexible, tomorrow we have a lot of pandemic that won't take that long to happen as the last one from the last one to this. And if we have a patent systems, when everyone is attacking these patents, we will have companies in the next pandemic that will invest a lot of time for develop the vaccine, the first generation of a vaccine in this short period of time. So I believe this is something that we need to be careful. We cannot shake the system this much because this license, it's something difficult to get. We had cases in the past where the health diplomacy, during Fernando Henrique and Lula government, they prevail, and we have positive results that were done for the HIV, for example, in the HIV cocktail the medicine. It was a debate for the first decade of the century. And I believe that the system needs to the system has more than 500 years, and we are modifying carefully to always reflect the public policy, and the intellectual property can be with this, can complete its social role. But we have to think about what is moving the system, and WIPO position, we are expecting and respecting this intellectual property. But the way the path to follow, it's the path that the countries will complement. But we cannot, just to conclude, if we shake this intellectual property system right now, talking about these patents where there's no patent deposit, maybe we can count in one hand the number of patent deposits that we had in Brazil in the vaccine for COVID-19. But if we start talking about this, first of all, I believe that Gadelha can talk a little bit about this, but we can be in the way of this agreement that Fiocruz has with AstraZeneca and Butantan has with Coronavac, and also we will be in this process. And this takes a long time. So when we conclude here, we will be in the third or fourth generation of this vaccine. And we will be producing the first one if we have this patent breaking. But we hope that in 2 years, the pandemic is already over. So I believe that it's a subject that it's the object of many debates, a lot of pressures coming from all over all different sectors, but we need to be careful with this debate without having any... I was part of a debate in the National Congress where they say that we need to break every patent, but if we break everything, we won't be able to produce anything in Fiocruz and Butantan, and we will stop our credibility. So we need to be careful talking about this, and I believe that will be very useful. Perfectly. Now I pass the floor. We are getting to the final moments. We have many other questions, but we won't have time to talk about them. But I pass for the final observations, first with Dr. Lélio for the final comments about this debate. I'm sorry for this technical issues that we had. I was not able to be part of the debate for the entire time, especially now in the final moments. I cannot hear. His microphone is on mute. No, I just got an important question from Marco Sonero. He is asking Dr. Wu how BeiGene sees the possibility of producing in Brazil through a partnership. I believe it's important question to do. Do you need me to repeat the question? No.
I think I understand the question, and whether we can produce the product in Brazil in a collaboration with a local company as joint venture. Is that the right question?
Yes. Yes, that's the question.
Okay, good. Yeah, we, as I said, we are very happy to work with a country like Brazilian to help many more patients. I know in Brazil there is a requirement, and government does want to have so in-country production. As BeiGene, we are very open. If we can say there is enough patient there and enough market there, I think we are very much open-minded to make a decision and to work with. If there's any company you believe is capable and working together, and we can talk. Yeah, definitely. It's a very uncomplicated for us.
Ok. Então, podemos finalizar.
Okay, so I think that we can end our event. Gadelha, do you have any final comments? Yeah, first I'd like to thank you. And this interaction was great. And I would like to applaud my colleagues that were here. It was amazing. And I have two comments very quickly. In this intellectual property, we have to keep following, but I would understand Biden. For him, it's difficult to have this unification, but maybe we can have a gesture that would stimulate this technological transfer. It's saying that if we do not have a system that it's more friendly, even in this Paris Agreement that we had years ago, we need to harmonize and this innovation with the public access. And if we do not facilitate this, it will be a global confusion. So we need to find a path that will stimulate the companies to cooperate and not only to keep their technological gold for themselves. So the COVID vaccine requires a big global cooperation, and this is for the entire health. And we are seeing this in Fiocruz. We are respecting the contracts. We were able to have a fund in the smaller price in Brazil that they will guarantee the access. Everyone has the same access, and I see this as the patent breaking as it's something safe that we do not, it's insurance that we don't like to use, but it's a call for cooperation. And the other thing that I would like to say, I believe that the innovation time in Brazil, it's urgent. To have a vaccine developed before COVID, it took 4 years to develop a vaccine. And for the COVID, we developed a vaccine in less than 1 year. And without innovation, you have to think that without innovation, we'd be just a farm for the world. We are just exporting food, we're just exporting other things, and if the national price is good, we are great. If it's not, we die. And the innovation time, it's here and it's urgent, and it's not only an option. It's not aiming a future that it's a year from now. It's an option that or we are in or we are not able to pass this pandemic. So I believe that this is for the entire industry, at the same time that we have a challenge to rebuild this this industrial capability and looking at the 21st century with this technological revolution. This is what we defend in the complex industrial 4.0. Health as the entrance for Brazil in this technological revolution, having this cooperation with China. That is crucial and that it's positive for China and for Brazil. Thank you, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here. I will pass the floor with these optimistic words from Gadelha, believing that we will, when we will have this, we end up this panel. Thank you, everyone.